Well, boys, I would like to say welcome to the very first Technology Worldwide
Cheers.
Fireside Chat podcast.
Cheers.
I figured while we had everybody together, we may as well set up some recording equipment, have some fun, sit out back, have a cocktail or wait for some friends, and just catch up. What do you think?
What a great fall night to do it.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful out. I think the weather's probably high 50s at this point. I don't think we ever hit 60 today.
Oh, 54 degrees.
And I guess we know that because of an iWatch.
Yes.
Here we go. So I guess I got to give Apple the first compliment of the day. Here we go. I've said it. Here we go. First Fireside Chat compliment comes. Hey, look, it's my Trailblazer. You know what that means?
Oh.
Rob Whiteside.
We have a random appearance.
We've got a rando Rob that should peer up. So we're sitting in my backyard right now, and Rob told us that he'd be here by 5. So looking at my my Samsung, my Android device, it is 5:50. So Rob is officially on rando Rob time. So
That's all right.
I don't know. What do you think we should talk about when
Is
Rob
that
gets here?
considered late or early?
I don't know. Well, you worked with him this week. How was he? Like, did he show up?
He was on my time.
He was on your time because you picked him up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He
So that's what happened.
Yeah. So we were efficient.
Ah, excellent. Excellent. I like that. So how was it like working with Rob before he gets here? Because he'll never hear this podcast.
Before he gets, he was quiet at first, which was kind of nice.
He was quiet, which is kind of...
He was sipping his tea, and
So he wasn't awake yet?
He wasn't fully awake yet.
He wasn't awake yet. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
But then again, he was also in his zone of plotting all his APs and
Yeah.
doing his mapping. So
Nice.
he was focused.
That's good. So how long did it take him? So, well, one, actually, why don't you tell him why he was there and what he was doing?
So he was there.
Well, where was there?
Suppley Church.
Okay.
Suppley? Yeah. Suppley.
We never say it
Suppley.
right.
Suppley
Yeah,
Church.
we'll get
We
there.
always mess it up. Suppley Church.
Yep.
Uh,
Hey, speaking
Hey,
of random,
Rob.
come on over. Come on over. Sit down. We got a spot for
we're
you.
talking about what you were doing today.
We started recording. We figured we couldn't wait forever for you, so
Hot night.
you got hot mics. So just come sit down. Be careful. Don't trip over any of the wires.
It's a little close, so you're in front.
Yeah, you
Yep.
keep it close on
We're
purpose.
recording video.
Yeah,
Nice.
so you can see yourself right there. So
Very nice.
wave yourself
So
to mom. So you need to come in.
Yeah,
you need to
you
come
gotta-
in.
Oh,
Yeah, we had you
you
there.
guys
We had you
scoot
close
you
for a
real
reason.
close. Burn your
Just
kneecaps
don't go in.
off.
That's perfect. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Just don't sit too far back, and you'll be good.
Yeah.
So how far can I get in?
So we were
Yeah, you gotta sit
just.
up.
So Sean was just saying he picked you up, and you guys started working, and he was saying where he was and what you guys were doing today. So there you go.
Yeah.
Back-
So we're at Suppley Church, and he was asking how long it took you, but then it turned into what you actually did.
Yeah.
At
So what did you do while you were there?
Suppley or Suppley or
Softly.
Suppley.
So as we talked, I think we talked before. We did a validation there. What was it, a month ago now of what they had existing, which was horrible. And then based off that validation, we did a new design, which was 1,000 times better than what they had before.
That's true.
So you guys had the joys of wiring that place a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Loved
Yes.
loved every last minute of it.
I enjoyed it. It's always fun.
That rack looks impressive.
Thank you.
Looks way better.
It's like I almost knew what I was doing, right?
Yeah, it was.
Don't tell anybody.
I mean, before it was the leaning tower of network equipment.
I mean, we've got to keep the mystique up that I actually don't know how to work.
Well, what's
That seems to be the way that the community believes. Ray Klein doesn't know how to
You
work.
did take a lot of knowledge from the project and put it.
Oh, yeah.
First rack since.
Yeah,
coming off
that
the
is my
project.
first rack since the project, which is true, and I guess we can talk about that a little bit. I took obviously you look at our racks, and all of our racks in our community kind of look the same because we all use the same products. Vertical cable, a lot of ubiquity stuff. It's like we have this goal where no matter where we are within our communities, we can all identify each other's work, which is nice, and we all take cues from each other, which is really cool. But I learned a lot of tips from Abe and from Pierce on building the rack, and this was the first rack after the charity project, the community project, Thanksgiving. And I know. Wait a minute, you guys heard that? Sorry.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, mute their phones.
Phone check.
Phone check. Here
You
we
guys
go.
yelled at me during the test.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
But it was also the test.
It's all right. This isn't formal.
So I muted.
I was already on vibrate. I'm just going to put that out.
Oh,
there.
you were on vibrate?
I was on vibrate.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute.
Was it your phone?
I am drinking a big glass of straight mezcal, so I'm on vibrate all night.
Oh, okay.
But I saw a lot of the pictures you posted of the project that you started after the charity project, but I don't really know the scope. Like, can you tell me what they came from and what they're going to?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. They had everything was basically home networking equipment. So it was a bunch of Netgear. They did have a Sonic wall, but it was like an OG Sonic wall, like Sonic Wall before Dell bought and then sold Sonic Wall.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was an old one.
It was an antique.
And they had the old Sonic points. What were they? They were the AV
Ends.
ones.
They were the ends.
Oh, they were the ends.
Yeah.
So they were a little bit newer than I thought.
They were very burnt in too.
But they were they were the ends, but only 2.4 gigahertz.
Okay.
So like very OG
Yep.
Sonic points as well.
Turning yellow.
So
I'm good, thank you.
So they had, they've only got, they're small, so there's seven staff employees, but it's not just a church, it's a nursery school, it's a daycare, so they've got a lot of kids, they've got the teachers that are using, applications on tablets and things like that. So they needed good Wi-Fi throughout their facility. And it's also going to help them because they want to add some cameras and things like that. So we gave them the good bones. Very similar to what we did at the TechSkimming event. What was really nice, we got a certifier from Trend, and we started certifying all of the existing wire. Because to try to save them money, what we tried to do was use some of the existing cabling they had in place.
Yeah.
We found that as we started certifying it, like, it was failing everything. So we'd pop our heads into the ceiling, and Sean and I would see they were using, like, the extensions. So you seen, like, the little Cat 5 duplexers that you just plug in patch cables?
The couplers.
Yeah, the couplers, that's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
The couplers, yeah.
Yeah, so they had a bunch of couplers.
No, the worst one was
no.
it had 2 or 3 couplers on it.
Oh, yeah.
With a, what was it?
In the pastor's office.
Yeah, in the pastor's office.
So they were all just really long patch cords into couplers, and the pastor's office was actually the funniest. She had a Cat 8 wire.
That's what I was wondering.
She had
what
a
it was.
Cat
I
8
couldn't
wire
remember.
What?
Yeah,
that was attached to a Cat 5 patch cord that also had a Cat 6 patch cord. So it was
basically every numbered patch cord.
So
was in there.
they had issues like any network does, right? Before they have somebody that understands technology.
Yeah.
Certain people couldn't print. Certain people weren't on the domain.
Yeah.
Some people were. Some people could get on wireless. Some people could only get on the guest wireless because of their devices. So it was a hodgepodge of all sorts of things, and it was really nice to go in there and straighten it out for them.
About how many runs did they have to start? And
To
like,
start?
APs? Yeah.
So they had, Rob, how many APs did they have? 9. They had
9,
9.
yeah, just yeah.
Okay.
And
Yep. And we
went
ended
to-
up with 16,
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah, 16.
So,
And it was minimal drops to death.
yes. Yep. It
So
was
almost everybody was living on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people were living on Wi-Fi. The wireless was completely inadequate for what they needed and what they used it for. They had a lot of dead zones. So Rob went out and did a survey for us a couple weeks ago, found out instead of 9 they needed 16. And then on top of that, like I said,
I think we did 12 drops.
there might have been 12 originals. I don't remember.
That we reran for drops for.
Oh no, we ran everything.
No, but I mean, yeah, for actual.
Oh no,
hard-
everything got
yeah.
ready. No, everything was brand new, and that's what we found out. So again, Trend sent us a certifier, and we found out that none of the cabling would pass even a wire map test, let alone a
wow.
certification.
It was that bad.
Oh yeah, so
It's
most
really
of them
bad.
were running off a 10-bit. They weren't even running 100-bit because again, there's so many. The duplexers were dropping it down, so they
Yeah.
had nothing. We ended up just abandoning all the wire in place. We just decided that after the first hour or two of trying to certify everything they had, we're just going to run all brand new cable. So we ran all brand new Cat 6 cable, vertical cable. It was awesome as always. And I
this
used
was the two of you.
yeah, it was Sean and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and now you just started with him full
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah, this was my first full week.
This is so
like
this
official,
is
not
first
like
full week
here and there.
and first full big project, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've done a couple big projects.
Yeah, we've
together,
done
but like
some big ones together.
officially
But as a-
starting with him. Yeah.
Just
first.
throw it into the deep end.
Yeah.
Well, legitimately threw them into the fire, right? Baptism by fire.
Yeah, I had to build the fire
Because
before we even started this.
it's just like a lot of these projects, you can't work when there's people that are there,
Yeah.
right? You can't work.
No, 'cause
We were
they're-
trying.
They're a daycare.
They're a
as
daycare,
well.
so
Oh, wow.
Sean would be up on a ladder, and the little kids would be like, "Is that my dad?"
Yeah,
They'd be looking up
You're
at him. It was
really
pretty funny.
tall.
Yeah.
You're very handsome.
Yeah.
You could.
I didn't get that. I just got you're very tall on the ladder, sir.
So we ended up, obviously just pulling all new. I think when it was done, I think we had. I'm thinking about the rack in my head. Maybe we had 29 drops, 30 drops. It wasn't a real big deployment.
Yeah, it wasn't
bad.
It wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
29
A lot of
drops,
them were
30 drops.
Close.
But it was big in that we'd only planned on running extras for the APs. So they had 9 APs. We went from 9
The
to
scope multiplied.
16. So we only intended on being, having to run those additional wires. And shame on us. I wish I would have done a better inspection. That's on me. But we really didn't have time to do an inspection.
Yeah.
And when they came to us, it was, we don't really have that budget to recable the whole building.
Yeah.
But when we got into it, we're like, look, we're just going to do it. And we did.
We'll figure it out later.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
So, their network's up, it's running it strong, and we went back there this week, and we moved them from their on-prem server, we moved them to the cloud.
Nice.
Again, with 7 people, it was really easy to take their data and move it to SharePoint.
Yeah.
They were running off a 2003 server that failed last week without significant backups. So
were you able to recover any of the data?
We were able to recover some of the data, which was good.
Okay. You're the hero then.
Well, we'll see.
Ish.
Well, ish. So
Ish.
so that's the thing. There's still time to not be the hero, but there was a lot of change, right? If you think about it.
Yeah.
So we put them on a brand new network. So there was, some challenges there, right? It was like, oh my God, everything's so fast, but the Wi-Fi name is different or the password's different, things like that, because we had to make things more secure.
Yeah, it's updated.
Yeah.
Yep. So everything was updated. Then you had us moving their computers from local Active Directory to Azure Active Directory and moving all the things to SharePoint. So now the data was exactly replicated for now. We just wanted to get them off the server that was failing. So it was just them, instead of looking at what they saw as a link of the old map drive, they had to click on the thing that said SharePoint. And
One
then
new shortcut changes that workflow.
I know, man.
Ooh.
One shortcut, it's just like, I get it. If people are set in their ways.
Did you just map SharePoint as a drive, make it easy?
Yeah, you actually don't even have to map it as a drive. You can just use OneDrive, the application. So that's the other thing that we should talk about too. OneDrive and SharePoint are 2 completely different applications.
Yes.
And that's something we have to explain to the technology community as a whole to begin with.
Let's start tonight.
Let's start tonight.
Yeah.
So OneDrive and SharePoint both use the same technology. It's the same application, it's the same topology, it's the same back end. OneDrive, though, you always have to think of it, if we're talking in terms of old, it is your personal drive on the server. It's your user drive on a server.
So it's like your digital thumb drive that's yours.
Correct.
Okay.
It is yours. Nobody should ever have access to it. You should not be using OneDrive to share user data.
Okay.
That is, these are my files, this is it. Whereas SharePoint is your shared server drive. So if you had shared folders, anything that you want to share to other people within your organization, or even people outside of your organization, that's what you use SharePoint for.
So
you can make it look like a network drive using the OneDrive application, because the OneDrive application will sync it and make it look like a map drive, and it will act like a map drive, but it's not. So that's the thing. So now you can get people off of an old server platform and into a platform that looks very similar to what they had before. So it's really nice.
Are the rights and everything managed through Azure AD?
They're managed, so yeah. So basically, you're going into SharePoint. You create the groups in Azure, and then from within SharePoint, you add permissions to those folders and groups that you created through SharePoint. So now, just like you would on a server, you don't generally want to ever give a single user permissions to a folder. You want to give a group permissions to a folder, so that when a person comes into the organization or leaves the organization, it's real easy to manage. You add a person into a group that you know has access to those folders.
The accounting group. Or
Yep,
the
the accounting
payroll
group or the payroll group. So you add whoever that new person is to that group.
Okay.
And that's a way easier way to manage things. And then also you can always see without having to go into, imagine a bigger organization where you've got hundreds of SharePoint folders. Now you're managing it at a group level instead of an individual folder level. So now you can look at a group and say, okay, I know everybody in this data structure that's in this group has access to all of this. Whereas if you're only adding it at the granular level for a person, you'll never know who really has access to a folder.
Oh, and how much work on a big company, like when there's a lot more turnover in a big company, right?
Huge.
You've got 150 employees, there's churn, and that's month to month, so then you have to really remember who all has access to what.
Yeah, and honestly, I know that most of the people in tech knowledge, they're smaller organizations. They're not working for huge organizations, right?
Yeah.
So
I didn't interrupt, but if you're doing this and not showing the video, you should just announce that I just threw a log in the fire.
fire in a hole.
For the podcast listeners, we have an actual fire.
Oh yeah,
in
I
front
guess
of
we
us.
should have described that. And
Yeah.
I'm putting on an actual glove right now.
You can't see the
Welder's
video.
glove. Oh yeah.
We're
Well, you should be
all-
watching this video instead of listening to it on the podcast.
That's what
By
I
the way,
mean.
you're missing some classic work here.
That's what I mean. Like you just nonchalantly
funny.
dropped the log in the
Yeah,
fire.
I guess
didn't announce.
I guess
what
we
was
got to
going
treat
on.
this like a true radio podcast at this point, right? Be
Yeah.
real descriptive in all the things that we do.
Exactly.
We're outside.
We're
Those
outside.
are cars driving by.
Yep.
Those are geese that you hear, and crickets and birds.
And the sun is going down
Are
slowly.
they Canadian geese in honor of having a Canadian on the podcast with us?
Most
They
likely.
might be.
We're close enough.
You're close enough. I think it's not bad.
They're traveling south. It's fall, so
Yeah.
it could very well be.
It's starting to get a little darker out here. It's kind of nice.
Yep,
I like it.
You're in full Phillies gear.
In full Phillies gear. Here we go. Yeah, I'm wearing full Phillies gear because tonight is the very first game of the Phillies World Series championship against the Houston Astros.
It's a big day for Philly.
It's a big day for Philly. I mean, our hockey team's doing incredible. Our soccer team is doing incredible. Our football team is doing incredible. Like,
The whole city's on fire.
the whole city's on fire,
Wow.
literally. It's amazing. I mean, it's a great time to be a Philly fan. And even if you're not a Philadelphia fan, it's a great time to root for the city of Philadelphia because it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. Funniest part was Sean and I were on a call the other day, and I was just asking the technician, I'm like, hey man, where are you from? And he goes, I heard you mention something about Philly. He goes, I don't want to say anything, but I'm from San Diego. I was like, well, I got nothing but respect for you guys because San Diego, man, they played hard. They played real hard. It was we whooped on them a little bit.
That's who you beat in the playoffs to get
Yep.
here.
We
right?
beat- yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and it was Atlanta before them, which was fun. So, but anywho, so to summarize everything, because I talk too much.
You do. Just a little.
I'm sorry. Well, you guys asked me questions. I talked.
I know.
The reason Rob came back down, other than he's amazing, is because we all got together this week again and we did a punch list, and for the community project that we did. So while he was here, he went and did a validation survey for us today at the church, the other church, not the community project church, at the other church,
Supli, Suppli.
Supply.
Too many churches.
There's a lot of
Too many
churches,
churches.
up here.
Yeah.
yeah.
There are. But he came and did a validation survey for us, and we did the punch list item. So, this week we had Trish came back to project manage us, which was awesome.
Awesome.
We had Jeff Day from Rhode Island came
Yeah.
down,
Yep.
hung out with us and helped us out for a day doing some punch list stuff.
Came dressed to the nines.
Dressed in a
Chain
9 and the
out.
Trican security
Oh.
too. Like, Trican security got the biggest shout out in the world. So Mick has obviously got the big gold chain, which is pretty cool. And Rob showed up looking like Mick. So it was kind of cool. I enjoyed
Jeff.
that.
Jeff showed
Oh, I'm
up.
sorry, Rob. Rob showed up. I'm sorry, I'm staring at you. Jeff showed up.
For
as-
those that
as Mick.
don't know, so Mick sent some of the other members from the charity project some giant gold chains,
Yep.
right? And then Jeff, he used his 3D printer or his laser
Laser.
cutter?
Yeah, he's got a
He's got a glow forge.
Go for it. Is that what it is?
Glowforge. Okay.
Okay.
So he took to match the size of this chain, and it was massive, right? And he carved out the Tricam logo in gold and hung it on the bottom of that chain. Walked up to the project day one, wearing the chain. It was beautiful.
Absolutely love it.
Beautiful.
So yeah, Jeff was awesome. Thanks for coming down, bud. I mean, that was huge to have you here. He kept joking, saying I'm only here for 20 hours, but like, it was just like we picked up from being here a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like nothing had ever changed. It's awesome. He's such a great guy to work with and huge talent, man. He's a smart dude.
Yes.
I don't want to pat him on the back too hard because he gets excited, but like he's a hard worker. He's a smart guy, and he's one of those guys you can really depend on, which is big. We obviously had Rob.
Yep.
Rob came down all the way from Canada to help us out, button up some items, and do another validation survey.
Yes.
How do we do?
At Church 1 or Church 2?
Well, the church that we're talking about.
Oh, the community
Thanksgiving,
Charity
the
project.
community project.
Thanksgiving.
Great. I mean, we did the validation initially the last Monday before we all left. We had a few of us had to rush out of there to get home. So I made some changes remotely on the Unified controller. And I was 99% things were fine. I just wanted to be 100% and do another validation.
Yeah.
And why not come another excuse to come down?
Right.
So
We had fun,
did-
right?
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
We did that. That new validation report looks great. We're gonna get it generated and put it on the SharePoint.
Cool.
So we're gonna look at it and ask questions.
I like it. And then obviously, we've got Dave from Ohio Fit came down.
Drove
Down.
Drove
Yeah,
down.
I do have to say that he drove here. So how long does it take you to get from Ohio to here?
So
to
from
Pennsylvania.
Ohio to Shea Ray
Shea Ray.
is 530 miles.
Oh my lord.
So it depends on how fast you go, how fast traffic is in the mountains, but it's about 8 hours.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I stopped for snacks along the way. Usually any restaurant I can, eat
Yep.
everything I can.
I like it.
I'm a fat kid at heart.
So, I'm a fat kid in body, so
It's all
I
about
feel
the
that.
road snacks.
all about the road snacks.
I brought the girlfriend this time.
I know, and,
Yeah.
and we tried to get her on here, and she's staring at us. I keep seeing her creep out here and just
Yeah.
looking at us. She just doesn't want to. She doesn't want to
Oh,
join.
she's on the chair.
Oh, is she
can
on the
see
chair?
us. There's a
She's just
smile
in there in the corner. Oh, there she is.
Let's all wave.
Let's all wave at her.
Hey.
Hey.
We got to wave back.
We had Marco come down, which was awesome.
Marco.
There we go.
Yeah.
Marco came in like a hurricane, like he
Got
always
it
does.
done.
Got it done, man. He was like
He was efficient.
He was like an
efficient.
hour tops.
He was like an hour, and he's Marco's Marco, man. He's
I love
he's
how
another
there's
guy
a,
that is
there's
just
a
like,
helicopter going by.
in the Tesla
in the Tesla. He came in a Tesla.
and stuffed a rack
Yeah.
in the back
Oh,
of his
a full-
Tesla.
Yeah, a full cubit rack from Chatsworth, just in the back of the Tesla somehow, some way.
Not a small box.
I
Not
didn't think
a
it was going
small
to fit.
Yeah,
I really
no.
didn't.
No, but thank you. He came down to make sure that the card access system and the camera system was working up, because there were some punch list items that we wanted to do. They wanted some changes on a couple things, so we wanted to work on that. So Marco came down. We had Sean. Sean is now officially a Libertas guy. Sorry, apologies already, but
Are you saying sorry?
I just feel
Like
bad.
it's a
for you.
bad thing. Oh, bad for me or
Yeah,
bad
it's
for
bad. No, it's bad for you.
Okay.
It's bad for me. It's great for
Alright.
me.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, this is true.
There's some concerns.
There's a lot
I'll
of people.
complain. I'll push it up to HR. and let
Yeah,
them know.
push it. Yeah, good luck. Who's HR today?
I don't.
Is it Kristen? Is that why she's over there?
I think I'll put my list down for her when I.
Kristen, are you HR? Yeah, she said sure. Hey, we got HR.
I hope
Hey,
the mic-
All right,
to
I
Kristen.
have a list.
Yeah, I'm
I
in
have a
trouble.
list.
I'm in
It
trouble.
goes right in the fire pit.
Yeah, good, yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. Like many of the other requests,
Yep.
which was great.
You're the official Libertas Sparky, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Depending on the day, yes,
Yeah.
it can be.
And what state you're in.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, in
that's
in Pennsylvania, there's no law, so as long as we're here, it's okay. Pennsylvania has no low voltage laws.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no, it's great to have you on the team. Sean was actually part of the charity project or community project, and his dad with Expert Home Improvement, so they helped us out with doing the electrical work. They came and hung some stuff for us, which was nice. It's always good to have a construction people in the background helping you out.
Just to reassure we hang a TV correctly. I mean,
Well, Brandon and I were like,
you were a little swamped.
we were a little like we were trying to hang TVs and trying to hang a TV, and all of a sudden we get pulled in like 20 different directions, and it happens, man. But it was fun.
That's what happens when you're a big head honcho.
Big head honcho, baby. You mean big red poncho?
Yeah.
Big red poncho. Inside joke. So then we had Nick Moss Mill, always taking care of us.
Yes.
Nick and
I think
Evan,
you have
their connection.
Another one over there too.
Oh yeah, we got another one. Oh, well, we've
Is
got
that-
the backup Oktoberfest.
Moss Taberfest.
Yeah, so Nick came out and supported us. He's our liaison to the church and the community, which is great. So it was awesome having him on site with us for a little bit. And Kristen was there. She got some great footage for us. Dave's girlfriend Kristen was there.
She was rolling tape.
She was rolling tape. Oh look, we got another person showing up. You think we'll come in and interrupt us? Probably not. We'll probably stand in the background and just think we're hilarious doing this stuff. Let's see. Trish, I know I mentioned Trish earlier, but I don't think we gave Trish enough credit for all of the work that Trish really does in our
Right, for
community.
Yeah.
putting up for all of you.
Oh, yes, putting up with me is a full-time job.
She
I know.
kept me in line.
She kept you in line?
Yeah.
How'd she do that?
Made sure I was surveying.
Well, you do go off on tangents where we're like, I kept walking in and Rob was working on the network, and the next thing I know, squirrel! And he's working on the security cameras, and then he's working on something else. I'm like, Rob, I said, Rob,
Focus.
stop. Just work on the network, because we were out there remounting all the cameras and repointing the cameras.
Like, are they
And-
on?
Were they on or were they off? Were they on?
Was
or
it
were they off?
us or was it you?
Yeah, well, but yeah, we that was interesting. Rob. Why don't you talk about the GBIX? Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. So that was a fun one. So, GBIX and Ubiquity hardware is always a fun one. So most of the time Ubiquity hardware doesn't care.
burning out.
Oh, someone's burning it there. So yeah. So most of the time Ubiquity hardware doesn't care about what brand optics is. So I guess let's go back on that a bit. Is a lot of time when you buy optics for hardware, you buy coded based on what you're buying. So if you have a Cisco switch, you buy Cisco coded optics. If you have a Juniper switch, you buy Juniper coded optics and whatnot. A lot of brands other don't care. They have an option that says allow unsupported or allow third-party SFPs, and 99% of the time it will work. The optics we got to replace optics that we misplaced before, unfortunately. Brent from 10-4 was kind enough to resend us some. Unfortunately, he sent us ones that were Mellanox coated, and for some reason this would not work in the Ubiquiti hardware.
I'm sorry. So Mellanox or Melodox?
Mellanox, which is NVIDIA's enterprise networking.
Okay.
Oh.
So for the people in the community that probably don't understand what that is, can you explain? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so like Mellanox is, I mean, if you think of your tiers of network hardware, you got Cisco. No one ever got fired by Cisco. The Mellanox is a whole nother level of especially enterprise world and GPU farming and stuff like that. I mean, they're usually pretty high end products, and we got defeated. Unfortunately, we spent a few hours troubleshooting. We thought maybe it was a cable was too long was the issue. Then I was trying between the two switches in the MDF, and we're still having issues. And it came down to that all the Gen 2 unified products will support these optics, but not the Gen 1 switches we had.
Okay.
I believe you, Ray, had some other actually unified coded optics that
Yep.
you'll switch out. And
Yeah,
get them
I think I'll
installed.
bring them back there and see if that works. So what you're saying is Brent sent us like the Mercedes Cadillac of optics.
And we need
needed-
the Honda Civic.
Yeah, I was
We
just
need
about
a
to say
Civic
that.
version.
I had the same car in my mind.
Yeah, that's too funny. So Brent, thank you. You sent us some really awesome optics. We just apparently our network equipment isn't good enough for it. So,
But like I said, we tested them in Gen 2 stuff, and
it works perfectly
fine. So
okay. So maybe if I do a blend of we put the other optics in the Gen 1 stuff and keep the Mellanox in the Gen 2 stuff, we should be good.
yeah, well we don't have any Gen. Well, the only thing that's Gen 2 there is the smaller 24 port switch is only
Okay.
that's only 1 gig.
Gotcha.
And
So
then
that's-
the UXG, but you deploy quite a bit of newer unified stuff now, so
Yep.
I'm sure you'll find a use for them somewhere.
Oh yeah. I mean that's the only. Honestly, God, it's the only products we use. It's the only optics we use. Is 10-4 optics.
Yes.
I mean, whether or not, everybody's got their own opinion on optics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, just working with Brent and his team, I always know that I've got somebody to back me up.
Yeah.
So that to me means the world, and that's why it's in the community
Yeah.
with us.
And I know-
on the spot.
Yeah,
And
man.
the nice thing with Brent's optics is, I mean, every so often you have a failure with any sort of product there, and I've known other people in the community, they've had an optic fail nowhere, and Brent, there's no question asked, overnight's not new optic release it.
Yep.
Any other brand, it'd be a call support, less troubleshoot. Brent's just like, no, I'm going to send you a new optic, no questions asked, which
3
is
hours
amazing.
on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 hours that we don't have.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's more than the cost of all of the optics. Well, not all the optics. But
Yeah. Agreed. No, agreed. Okay.
So what I took from that entire story is that there's just another reason for me to come back for another day on the charity project.
Oh, next
And
month.
have
sure.
Moss Mill.
Next month?
Yeah.
10
Next month,
minutes.
right?
Like,
I mean,
let's-
you're like a once a month guy here at this point, so you're coming back for Thanksgiving.
This is becoming regular.
I know.
Yeah,
Hey, man, I like it. I'm okay with having you here all the time,
Well, I
buddy.
mean, Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Well, so Thanksgiving, I think that was
2 bits.
that was two bits idea,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
Kevin, that was his idea because apparently when we did the project, it was Canadian Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, so our Thanksgiving is...
Nothing.
yeah,
That's not
yeah, no, so our Thanksgiving
He
is
didn't
about...
even skip a beat. He's
No.
like,
He's like, well.
yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, so our Thanksgiving is a couple weeks, usually the second week of October. And that was one thing, me and Ray were talking when we did first initial walkthrough of the community project of when we want to do this. And we're thinking of things that are going on. And we had City that was coming for next week. We had Canadian Thanksgiving, and we're trying to get more people in Canada to come down this year, which we had made turnout. We had myself, we had 2-Bit, which drove all the way from Ottawa.
Yep.
He's about 8-hour drive south. I drove down from where I lived, northeast of Toronto. Well, I actually met up Brandon Weber in Rochester. Then we drove down together.
there were 2 more guys.
And
right?
then two guys from Running Cables, which were smarter than all of us, that drove 8 hours and flew from Toronto. The hour
that's true.
flight.
Yep.
Shame on them being smarter than us.
Well, got you and Brandon chances to bond, right?
Yeah,
So there's
no.
nothing wrong with that.
Brandon got pulled over in New York State.
Well, I don't know that you're supposed to talk about that.
Okay.
Only because I don't know if he told his wife. So,
Wow.
Anne-Marie,
Don't listen to this.
nothing happened.
No.
Nope, nothing happened.
Just a friendly chat
We're
law
just,
enforcement.
everyone just,
Yep. Okay. So, yeah,
we just all drank.
we thank you, Moss Mill. But yeah, so I guess what's your take on how the project went, Mr. Dave?
It went great. We had We had a lot of people show up. Everybody kind of had a task. Yeah.
So, I continue.
For those audio, we had a guest show up, so we had to
Yeah,
move to
so
them.
again, first night of the World Series, the Phillies are in it. I've got about 10 more people coming, and Dave and I are about to go to town on this fire pit. So,
There's 15 pounds of meat in there.
I know.
And 10 of us.
and this ring here, so they're not in our community because they are a barbecue fire pit company. There's a company called Brio,
Yeah.
and I bought one of their fire pits, and I cook on this thing all the time. But this is going to be the first time that you and I are going to town as
Yeah.
a team cooking this.
Every
so,
time we've
Dueling
been together.
cooks?
dueling cooks,
Yeah.
baby.
We did cook the sliders on the Friday night.
We
on
did.
They were
Yep.
delicious. Those are from.
They're from Moss Mill, though.
Yeah, they were delicious.
Yeah, that's Matt. God, we love Matt.
Man, I think he's coming tonight.
Yeah, he's coming. He'll be here in a little
Who
bit.
doesn't love Matt?
Matt's wife. There we go. No, she's awesome. Love her too.
Listen, Theron, if you're listening, I had a key moment of inspiration, and we took some of Grandma's hot mustard
Oh yeah.
and rubbed it all over a pork loin, and
Oh.
we're going to cook that pork loin tonight, and I bet it's going to turn out amazing.
Wow.
So Theron's grandmother owns a hot sauce company called MJ's, and I'll put the link up so you guys can see it. So he brought me this jar of it. The best way that I can describe it is like a hot pepper relish sauce.
Yeah.
And he brought me a variety of it, and he said, look, if you like it, you can go to her website. She's got other varieties. So I went and I bought the sample pack. I bought everything she's got.
Yeah.
And one of them was a hot mustard. So he's like, we're making pork tonight, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, let's try this mustard. Like, so we taste it, and I'm like, yes, Dave, you were 100% right. It's
Oh.
going on the pork. So we've got a hot mustard pork. It's going to be amazing. We've got some wings that are sitting in some beer right now. They're marinating in beer. We're going to throw them on here in a couple of minutes. We've got
For those that can't see, so this fire pit has this, what is it, like an 8-inch metal ring?
yeah, it's
around
called a
it?
sear ring. Yeah, sear
So
plate.
you can cook things right on the metal ring, and then there's a post hole where you can post up, and then put a grate above the fire, so you're catching the smoke.
I know this thing has got some audio, so check this out. I'm taking a little bit of my drink here, and I'm just gonna pour it on the sear plate so you guys understand how hot this thing is. So Brio, the company that makes this, says that the sear plate can get up to 1,200 degrees.
Mhm.
So you can instantly sear anything on this thing. So here we go. Pouring a little. See,
It's alcohol abuse.
That's magic.
that's so, and it's gone. It's already evaporated.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
Oh, that's not hot.
No, it's not hot at all. So we're gonna cook some of that. We've got some chicken thighs. We are going to do some scallops.
Scallops.
We're gonna do
Crab
some
cakes?
crab cakes.
Mmm.
So we've got some veggies. We've
Vegetarian crab cakes.
got some
or-
vegetarian crab cakes because we got a couple vegetarians coming over.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That'll be fun. We've got some sweet potatoes that we're gonna slice up, cook them up on a grill. We got some asparagus. So we're doing
I
some
was
things.
really
tonight.
not hungry until we started talking
Yeah.
about this. And now
Are you hungry now?
I'm about to eat my foot.
Well, cook it over the fire a little bit. Just
Right,
take a little
cool.
angle.
Yeah. Can I put some of that hot mustard on?
It'll probably be good, right? But we got a little sidetracked. So how do you feel like the community project went?
It went great. So this
You got to
year-
sit a little forward.
Yeah,
Gotta remind
I'm sorry.
You. There you go.
Th-
Oh, it's actually nope. It's you. There you go.
Oh,
Hey, you
no.
were in the background.
Wrong person you're yelling at.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
We had a, not to downplay anybody, we had a real project manager this year.
I know.
Trisha.
I feel so inadequate.
Nailed
knowing
it.
that I've been the forward
Like,
project
And
manager.
then
replaced.
so,
Wait a minute. Throwing logs on the fire.
Why? We don't.
You
okay.
said I had to tell people when I did it, so I did it.
Yeah.
There you go.
how much of a relief did you guys feel when we were getting ready for this extra day, when Trisha popped up with her to-do list in...
I felt amazing. Also, Ed, my friend, who has been in my house 1,000 times, is trying to figure out how to make those twinkle lights stop in my house right now.
He doesn't know how to.
Because he's using a remote control for my outside lights right now. I'm just going to keep letting him go.
Yeah.
Because that remote's not doing a damn thing. Look at him. He's laughing.
He's laughing.
He doesn't know. Ed! It's the light switch on top. It's the one sitting up top. You got to press the button. Press the button on the light fixture. Hands up. There you go. Yay! Keep pressing. There you go. Good job.
It's the strobe effect.
It's the strobe effect. It's anybody that has any outdoor problems is a problem. But back to the project. Sorry, I keep cutting off here.
So Trisha was running things, and between her and the rest of the superstars that are all here, everything was just kind of doled out and spread out, and everybody kind of knew what they had to do.
Yep.
And even this time, it was no different.
Yeah.
Right? We had that pop up with like, here's our to-do list. When we showed up on site, okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're all sipping our coffee, figuring out our tasks, and then we just scatter like ants
Yep.
and get to work. Yeah.
Worker ants.
Worker ants.
And we're
Great, so
done.
right.
What time we got out there around 2 o'clock, I believe.
Finished on
Yeah. Finished
early.
like early.
When,
Yeah, because usually you jinx us and you say we're gonna get done by noon, and then it's like
I know.
midnight.
I ruin it. I gotta
Famous
stop
last
talking.
words of
I
the
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be done early.
Should be
We'll be
easy.
done early.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it's terrible.
that's
Yeah.
it. Should be a nice,
Should be
easy
easy.
day.
Should be an easy day until Ray
15
runs his
minutes.
mouth.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we finished early. We went and got some cheesesteaks at the Gull Street Malt House.
Gull House.
Gull House.
Yeah, Gull House. It's a great place in Philly. Their roots are, it's a pretty cool story. Look them up. Philly Gull House. They're a cool restaurant. They're based, their first restaurant was in Kensington, I believe, down in
Okay.
Philadelphia. And they've gotten pretty big. They bought quite a few restaurants in the Northeast where we were by the church, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Glad you guys enjoyed it. And then obviously we went to Moss Mill. I mean, it's our second home.
Yes.
Yeah. Showed up, did trivia night again.
I didn't even know they were gonna do trivia that night.
Yeah, Tommy.
Yeah.
Village Idiots.
Yes.
They're fun. Yeah,
He is fun.
he's fun. He's a good dude.
Cheat code for any of you if you ever show up and do trivia. If any of the choices are ever Uranus, it's always Uranus.
Yes,
Oh,
the planet.
yes,
The
yes.
planet.
The
He does
planet.
he does a lot of solar trivia. The planet. I just want to make sure that we're clarifying which we're talking about.
PG-13.
Yes, PG-13 podcast. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you guys have any topics that you want to get into before we start cooking? Is there anything you want to talk about, or we want to call this Fireside Chat a complete, or what do you want to do?
I mean, it's getting a little toasty. My feet are.
Your kneecaps are
My
burning.
kneecaps are burning. I'm trying
Well,
to stay in
Rob,
frame.
it's a fire.
Oh, I know.
It does that.
And it doesn't help. I'm the tallest guy around this Fireside Chat, and my kneecaps are literally in the carpet.
Yeah. So I will say this, and then we can end it. The funniest part of this entire short trip so far, the night's not over,
I'm worried.
was last night. Do you remember driving back home from Moss Mill last night? And Rob is telling stories of whatever Rob was telling stories about. But Rob every time would say kilometer, or he would convert
Or
it.
Celsius.
Anything that was the metric system, he would immediately convert it to
Yes.
stupid America.
Yes.
So he would be like, I was doing 54 kilometers an hour, and he's like, yeah, it was like 30 miles an hour, and I'm like, geez, every time. Oh, it was amazing. I absolutely love that about you. He's like,
Yeah.
I got to keep it dumb for you Americans.
You're very well practiced.
You are well
Yeah.
practiced
Yeah.
in that.
I mean, luckily you guys are the smarter demographics in the world.
Well, thank
Well,
you for still dumbing it down for
Yes,
us.
yeah, we
Yes.
appreciate you dumbing
No,
it down
wow.
for us stupid Americans.
That's all good.
But no, man. So I think I want to thank everybody again. This is that it came to this project. If we would have thought ahead many months ago, we could have done this with the whole group, which would have been awesome.
Yeah.
The 40 plus guys that were here.
I can only imagine that'd be it was hectic trying to monitor 40 techs on site and delegate tasks.
Yeah, agreed. That would have been awful.
We would have had like 20 mic for their whole backyard.
It would have picked up too much.
Yeah. But I want to thank everybody for being a part of the project as always. It was so much fun working with you guys. So much fun having you guys come back out again. So thank you again.
No problem.
It was 100% awesome working with you guys again. I'd work with you anywhere, but I would prefer to drink and eat with you guys. So I say we do that. What do you
Yes.
think?
Let's
I
go.
like that.
So,
You like
Let's
that?
do it. So how do we sign off on the fireside?
I say we.
I think we're gonna toast.
I think we're gonna
no,
toast.
I don't have a drink.
Use whatever you got.
I have
Wait a minute.
beer.
Hold on. No,
Yeah,
no.
you
We
have
can give you a Moss Mill
Oh,
beer.
nice.
We'll pass that
It's-
around. That's a full beer too. I don't even think
So
you
I would
took a little
say
sip, that's it.
to our first fireside chat and our first official community project together, I say cheers. Let's fucking go.
Let's
Cheers.
go.
Let's go. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for putting up with us for the last hour and a half. Hit that beautiful bean footage,
I
baby.
got it.